The other night, I woke up in the middle of my sleep with a very scary thought. I remember thinking, I don't have all of the strategies that I teach women to get their ex-boyfriends back written in one place. I mean, sure, you can go to ex-boyfriend recovery and find the strategies there if you have the patience to sift through all of the posts. But what I'm really talking about is having the strategies in one place where I can always refer to them when I get stuck and maybe need to explain something to someone. So that night, I got up and I started doing just that. The whole process maybe took me a couple of hours, but as I was writing down all of these strategies, a thought entered my head. I wonder what the best strategies are for getting an ex-boyfriend back. So I started surveying all of the people who came to my website, specifically those who ended up succeeding when it came to getting their ex-boyfriends back. I would ask them all sorts of questions like, does the no contact rule work? Or tell me more about exactly what you did to get your ex back. And what I found out, what I learned from these surveys was absolutely fascinating. So fascinating, in fact, that that's why I made this very video. We're going to talk about the 3 most successful or arguably most important strategies for getting your ex-boyfriend back. Hi, my name is Chris Sider, founder of Ex-Boyfriend Recovery. And if you don't know me, I specialize in helping people repair their broken relationships. Now, the thing you really have to understand about me is I don't have a lot of faith. You're telling me you don't have faith? Isn't that like a prerequisite for getting an ex back? I think you're misunderstanding me. When I say that I don't have faith, it doesn't mean that I don't have faith in the process that getting an ex back can work. I just don't have faith in a lot of the strategies that are out there. I'm a little skeptical by nature, so I like to prove that the strategies that I recommend work. So rest assured, as you listen to this video and listen to the strategies that I'm teaching you, I have tested every single one. Whether I've found research through scientific means or psychological means, the point I'm trying to make here is I have tested and made sure that all of the strategies that I'm recommending here are guaranteed to improve your chances of getting your ex-boyfriend back. Let's begin. So here's a good question for you. What is the no contact rule? Well, the no contact rule is simply a period of time where you ignore your ex-boyfriend with the intent of making him miss you, while at the same time simultaneously working on your own personal growth. But what proof is out there that the no contact rule actually works? Well, the proof that I kept coming across when I would research the ins and outs of the no contact rule and trying to understand why it works on men was psychological reactance. What's psychological reactance? Great question. Psychological reactance basically states that human beings are born with a certain amount of freedoms. In other words, I have the freedom to walk from here to here. I have the freedom to do that. But when that freedom is threatened, I am likely to react in a way to try to reobtain that freedom. So how does this relate to the no contact rule? Well, when you use the no contact rule on your ex-boyfriend, you are ignoring him. You are depriving him of his freedom to talk to you. So that will increase the likelihood that he is going to try to reobtain that freedom. He is going to reach out to you to try to get you to respond to him. He's going to tell you that he misses you, and so on and so forth. But if you were to ask me honestly, I would say that most people miss the boat when it comes to the no contact rule. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, most people focus on the fact that yes, the no contact rule using psychological reactance can improve the chances of making your ex-boyfriend miss you. But we have found through our own independent research that the people who utilize the second part of the no contact rule definition end up having more success when it comes to getting their ex-boyfriend back. Now you're probably wondering, well, what's the second part of the no contact rule definition? Well, it really revolves around personal growth. So the people who utilize the no contact rule and don't focus so much on making their ex-boyfriend miss you, because just by utilizing the no contact rule, you are doing that. The people who focus on themselves, who improve their lives, who have a lot of personal growth throughout the no contact period, end up succeeding in getting their ex-boyfriends back at a higher rate than the people who don't have any type of personal growth throughout the no contact rule. So what does this mean? Well, it means that when you utilize the no contact rule on your ex-boyfriend, you really need to focus more on yourself as opposed to more on him. Now, the second most important or biggest strategy that you can use for getting your ex-boyfriend back highly relates to the no contact rule, which is why I put it next. The second strategy revolves around the Holy Trinity. Wait, is this something biblical? Not at all. The Holy Trinity refers to health, wealth, and relationships. Let's say that you're in the middle of the no contact rule and you are going to really try to utilize what I talked about with personal growth. In other words, you're going to focus a lot on your own personal growth when you're in the middle of your no contact rule. Well, how are you going to improve yourself personally? Well, that's where the Holy Trinity comes into play. You can divide the most important aspects of your life up into 3 different categories: health, wealth, and relationships. So, by focusing on improving each one of these aspects of your life, you're more likely to become a more complete human being. You're more likely to become a better version of yourself. You're more likely to become more attractive to your ex-boyfriend. And I haven't even gotten to the coolest part yet. The Holy Trinity is interconnected. So what impacts one little aspect of the Holy Trinity will impact the other aspects of the Holy Trinity. Let me give you an example. Let's pretend that I gained about 20 pounds in, I don't know, a second. And as a result of that weight, my confidence really takes a hit. I'm so unconfident. And then as a result of my confidence taking a very bad hit, I go into work and I don't give my full effort. In fact, I just write it in, and as a result, I get fired. You're firing me now? What the heck? So, I've just gained 20 pounds. I've just lost my job. And now the final aspect of the Holy Trinity is about to get hit. I go home and my girlfriend breaks up with me because, again, I've gained weight and I've lost my job. I'm no longer that appealing to her. Why won't anyone love me? So do you see what happened there? My health took a hit when I gained 20 pounds. My wealth took a hit when I lost my job. And my relationships took a hit when I got broken up with by my girlfriend. Now, here's the thing. Did you notice how each aspect of the Holy Trinity was interconnected? So what happened to one aspect of the Holy Trinity negatively impacted the other aspects. I gained weight, which negatively impacted my wealth because I went into work and didn't really give it my all. And then my health being impacted negatively and my wealth being impacted negatively impacted my relationships when my girlfriend broke up with me. Now, do you see how they are all interconnected? And I think a lot of people who come to ex-boyfriend recovery are at that point in their lives where their Holy Trinity is at a very low point, where every aspect of the Holy Trinity is at a very low point. But here's the good news. What can impact the Holy Trinity negatively can also impact it positively. Think of it like this. Let's say that instead of gaining 20 pounds, I lose 20 pounds and I get in the best shape of my life. I'm feeling very confident and I go into work and this confidence is exuded to everyone and my boss gives me a raise. So awesome. My health has been impacted positively because I'm getting more confident with the way I look. My wealth has been impacted positively because I either came into work or I came into school and just exuded confidence and wanted to be the best version of myself possible. And then, as a result of those two things happening, I am more attractive to the people around me, including your ex. A few months ago, I got a comment on this YouTube channel from a woman who started questioning my methods, and we talked back and forth, and she is certainly entitled to her opinion, but she seemed to have trouble with the idea that I would recommend people to kind of play hard to get, to re-attract their ex-boyfriend. And she said that you should never play games in a relationship, and she's right. But the problem is, when you're dealing with an ex-boyfriend, you aren't in a relationship. You are playing a game to get him back, and sometimes that's the only thing that works. In fact, research has proven that playing hard to get is one of the most effective strategies of making a man chase you. Of course, this begs a very fascinating question. How hard is too hard when it comes to playing hard to get? Should you make it impossible for an ex-boyfriend to get you, or create this illusion that it is impossible for any man to get you? Or should you just kind of make it hard for him to get you, but not impossible? I actually stumbled across this really amazing study where they took a bunch of college students, men and women, and they presented these college students with 3 different candidates. Now, the thing you have to understand about the 3 different candidates is nothing really separated them. They were equal attractiveness. The only thing that separated the 3 candidates were the fact that they had different levels of availability. One candidate had a low level of availability. Psh, you ain't never dating me. Another candidate had a medium level of availability. Look, the only way you're dating me is if you make 6 figures a year, big boy. And then finally, one candidate had a very high level of availability. Will I date you? Sure. Now, out of these 3 candidates, which one do you think people preferred when they were asked, which one of these candidates would you like to date or have a long-lasting relationship with? The candidate with medium availability was preferred hands down over the other 2. Oh, you do make 6 figures a year. Now, what does this research tell us when we're looking at your ex-boyfriend and playing hard to get? Well, it tells us that if you are going to play hard to get or employ that as a strategy, you can't make yourself so hard to get that he's going to lose interest and give up, because that was what happened in that study. People who perceived the person with a low level of availability just thought that there was no way that they could ever get that person, so they gave up, and they were more drawn to the person with a medium level of availability. Now, staying with the same line of thinking, there was actually a subsequent study done where they took the people who were in this study and they found that the people who were drawn to those with a low level of availability or a medium level of availability were more likely to shell out more money for a date or spend more money on dinner. So, what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that the illusion of scarcity doesn't just work for marketers trying to sell something. It actually works for people who want to become more dateable or people who want to become more attractive to the opposite sex. So those are 3 really cool strategies, right? Well, if you're interested in learning more about these 3 strategies, or if you want to learn more strategies for getting an ex-boyfriend back in general, I would highly recommend that you visit www.exboyfriendrecovery.com. You can find that link in the show notes below on our YouTube channel, or just visit us directly through Google or just typing in www.exboyfriendrecovery.com into your phone, smartphone, tablet, or PC or desktop. I just want to take a moment to thank you for watching this video. We really appreciate it. We have a blast filming these for you. And if you do visit our website, we actually have one of the coolest things out there right now. We have a quiz that I personally designed to help you determine what kind of chance you have of getting your ex-boyfriend back. Because as we know, there's nothing worse than spending time on a situation that you absolutely have no shot at succeeding in. So I would highly recommend that you visit www.exboyfriendrecovery.com and take our quiz to determine your chances of getting your ex-boyfriend back. This is Chris Sider from Ex-Boyfriend Recovery. I had a blast filming this for you. I'll see you next week.